Hey guys, Happy New Year. January 1st today. I promise I'm really sick, but I promise I'd do a video every Friday, so I'm just gonna do it anyways. And for today's video, I wanna talk about one thing, simple topic. I wanna talk about egos. You know what ego is, like how people have an ego, very high self-esteem, or whatever you wanna call it. I think every human has a little bit of an ego. I would say, I think that's pretty fair to say. But I guess maybe because I'm in school for acting right now, in theater school, I'm seeing a lot more of ego. I'm seeing a lot more of just people having that, and especially in a field like acting, ego like it almost is everybody. Everybody needs that ego. Everybody needs that. Yeah, I did this show. Yeah, I did this thing, in a way to kind of prove themselves, if that makes sense. Because it's your resume. It's like I did this stuff, so it's like it's on my resume, so I'm gonna claim that everywhere I go. And I don't know, maybe the only reason I'm not really against that is because as an actor I don't have much on my resume. But in a sense, I don't really feel like I need to, and I don't feel like anybody needs to. I feel like you know who you are and you know what you're capable of and you know what your talents are, regardless of what you have or have not done. You know what you hold and the power you hold and the skill and the talent that you hold. So I don't think you need to go around saying it, and I don't think if you don't have it, it's a problem in itself. But I think growing up in high school, I did not growing up. It was like a couple months ago. But I think in high school, I did fake it a lot. I don't think anybody. And the only reason I would say my resume of me being an actor is just the way I acted in high school. That sounds so crazy, but like I don't think anybody in the world besides my mom and my dad really truly know who I am. Because I feel like in high school, that ego that I had, or that the way I viewed myself, was a lot different than who I really was. Like walking around in those hallways, I'd kind of just feel like, or pretend to be someone that I wasn't every single day. And I would carry myself in a way that wasn't actually, or who I actually was. And the way I would talk would be insane because that's not who I really am. And not the way I would talk, like the way I would talk was who I am, but the things I would say, sometimes I'd go home and that's not really what I would want to say. But to keep that certain role of a character, I had to say it, or I felt like I had to say it. I didn't really have to. And I don't know where that came from. I haven't really done enough to be that person in my life. All I am, like all I see myself is just truly my mom's son and a brother at home. That's all I am. I don't really see myself as anything else. And these people, um, I would feel like in that time of life, they've done a lot more than I have. And I say that not in a way, but I'm saying they're probably a lot better than me at math. They're probably a lot better. They're probably working jobs. I'm 18 years old. I never worked a single day of my life. And I'm not trying to say that. And like, I know it's not a good thing. To me, I really don't care. But I know like to the outside world, that's insane or that's looked down upon. But to me, I don't really care because I feel like I was just put on this earth to act. And when I'm not acting, I don't really want to be doing anything else. And I know that you have to live in reality, find a job, do your thing. But for me, it's like, do I? Like, and I know that's a real problem that I have to fix because everyone in my life has told me like, you gotta do that. But in a sense, it just felt like I only want to do acting. And in school is like, the way I would carry myself would be one way. But then in that theater room is the only place I really truly felt like I was myself, like I was truly being myself in that room, and I would put my ego to bed, like that self that I would carry myself in the hallways would go to bed when I was in that drama room, because that's where I truly felt like I was me, and noticing just everyone else now around having this sense of ego, it kind of made me like, damn, why was I like that? Because I want to be the exact opposite of that, like. I want to just be the guy that just kind of shows up and does the job, does the acting job, or not necessarily does the job, but be's himself and truly himself and looks upon the other people that are pretending. That's the person I want to be. I don't want to be the faker. I don't want to be the false character. that's never who I just wanted to be. I've always wanted to be myself, and I felt like I've never been myself other than when I was home. But I think the ego came from just who I was at home. I mean, I have everything at home. Like I feel free to say whatever I want because I got lovely sisters. I got both my parents here, and I got my brothers. And then it's like you you kind of feel like you're good. Like everything will always be okay. So that builds a sense of safety or sense of ego or sense of, oh, this is who I am. I can go here and do this because your base builds who you are. What you come home to is essentially the training ground of what you are and how you think. So I think that's what made me me, and feel comfortable enough to go outside with that mindset. But now, like, just being older and going to college, I don't, like, I want to shut all that down. Maybe a part of it is also because I make content, and in content, it's like the results never match who you truly are. That's another thing I think that's really opening my mindset on it, is like, you'll get certain results of you trying to do something, and if you don't have that certain self-belief, like buried down under the results, then eventually you'll lose because what you're seeing you'll associate with who you are and what you're putting out and the efforts you're putting out. But the reality is it'll never match. Like the efforts you put in will never really match the results you get until you there are disciplined and do it long enough to get what you want. But so maybe that's the reason why my thing is starting to shut down, and I'm starting to feel like a lot like I can be myself more again, and like I should be, because putting yourself out there, the real you out there, is the most important thing you could do. So I guess that's another reason, another thing I'm trying to do. But my point with all this is just, I don't think with ego that you should carry it. I don't think you should fake it. I don't think you should portray something you're not, or pretend to be something you're not, or let your results define who you are, whether you've been on Broadway, whether you've been in Avengers Endgame, whatever you've been on, whatever level ego you have. I don't think you should let that define who you are. I think you should always let the hard work that you put to get there, and the challenges that you overcame to get there, I think that is who you are. I think the time you put to memorize those lines is who you are. I think the time you put in the gym, that led to that. I think that's who you are. So I think if you want a sense of ego, then be like, okay, yeah, like, oh, don't be like, yeah, I did this. Be like, yeah, one time when I was training, I went 6 hours, not for the role, but I just went 6 hours overtime, and I still didn't feel like that was enough, or maybe not that, but like, just talking about the efforts you put in to get to where you want to go matters a lot more than how you got there, and I think that's the bigger flex than anything else, because if you don't represent that, then at the end of the day it could all just be you don't want to be the one that just got put in the right place but didn't truly deserve it, or the efforts you put to got there, the effort you put to get there isn't as loud as the final result of what you did. Does that make any sense, or am I just yapping? But I think the work that you put in should be the exclamation mark, the point that you're screaming, the point that you're yelling, is the work that you put in to get there. And I think we should stop all pretending or letting our what we've done define us. And I don't know, maybe that sounds soft. Maybe I sound like I'm maybe I sound like I'm like being like, because maybe I should be the guy that's just like, oh, I done this, but like, nah, I don't, nah, I don't believe in that at all. I think you should shut it down completely, and let the efforts talk instead of letting accomplishments and everything talk, because without the efforts there's no accomplishments. And the accomplishments definitely do make you, but it'll never make you as much as the efforts do. So I think we should start praising the efforts more, and I think we should start walking into who we really are and stop pretending to be who we want to be. And yeah, that's all I can say for today. Thank you guys. See you in the next. This is raw, no cuts, no nothing. So if I sound stupid, this is off the top of the head. So I'll see you guys next Friday, and I love you guys. Ego.